Hey guys, this is Andy McCann, your host on this podcast called CrossFit Garage, where we are helping you build a firm foundation in fitness, food, and finances. And why is that the title? Why do we care? So if you're going to have a decent amount of fitness and nutrition, then you're going to live a long time. And if you're going to live a long time, then you better have money to actually do something with, because if you're just going to live a long time and then be a burden on everyone around you, what kind of fun is that, right? Have money, do something fun, be excited about your life. Now, the other side of it is, hey, why do we talk about money? Well, if you're going to go work hard for money, then you better fix your food and your fitness and your food, because if you go get that money and then you don't do those things, then you're just going to die early and pass all that money off to the people you love, which, well, hopefully you got people you love. Part of this message today is the fun we can have, why we do what we do, why I'm doing what we do. So I talk to a lot of you guys, and it's usually the same sort of conversations, which is kind of where these podcasts come from. What did I talk to a couple of you about? Let's put it in a podcast. I'm sure it's going to be interesting to somebody else. So these are some life lessons from me in CrossFit and pursuing this longer life. I want to be healthy and fit now as well as in my 90s. And what am I doing? I think the first thing I would tell you is that it really starts with having a vivid picture of who you want to be in the end. So there's a guy, Stephen Covey. Actually, let me grab this book. I'm going to hit pause. Miracle of Technology. All right. So there's this guy, Stephen Covey, and he wrote 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I would encourage everybody to read it. He was one of the first guys to take the stuff that, like Brian Tracy, Napoleon Hill, Zig Ziglar, all those guys that kind of like started saying, hey, there's more than just doing. You can set your own course and destination. He sort of put it all together. And his big thing was start with the end in mind. So while it's morbid, it actually is pretty good. So what would they say about you when you're dead? Well, I hope they say he was a loving husband. He was helpful. He was humble. He was able to do anything and everything for us, physically and cash-wise, right? I love this saying in a book I just read or listened to. If you have a problem that money can solve, then it's not a problem. You can always just go borrow money. Of course, then you got a whole other problem. But yeah, so solve your problems, get that money, pass it on. What are they going to say about you? It's usually not something like, well, he worked really hard at working and he was at the office a lot. And he always said he wished he spent more time in the office, right? Nobody really ever wants that to be said about them. So if you know what you want them to say, then you can back that up and get like, what should it look like? Let's say you're going to die at 100. What does it look like at 90? What are you doing at 80? What are you doing at 70? What are you doing at 60? And you get down to your age, you're like, okay, well, I am 50. And if I want people to say he was a happy, humble, helpful guy, then the glass has got to be half full. When I walk into the gym, most of you guys are like, dang, Andy, you got a lot of energy. How does that work? I don't know. I just choose to have energy. I get a lot of sleep. I eat right. I come and work out every day. And I want to be happy. I want to be glasses half full. I just did a podcast with Ebony on her podcast, which when she sends it out, I'll link everybody to it. But we were talking about before a workout starts, if a good song comes on, she and I will start dancing right there at our little workout station area, and we'll look up and see each other dancing and we smile. I mean, that's awesome, right? Live life, love it. I want people to say that about me. So what am I doing? And you can see it on the picture right here. If you're watching it as a video, if you're on audio, I'll try to be super descriptive, but we want to help you become the hero of your own story, right? Get your life back. And what does that mean to you? So this is kind of what it means to me in the journey I've taken. Is it perfect? By all means, no. And the lessons that I've got are because I'm here now. So a problem that I have had for my entire life, I still have it right now, is I don't actually understand sometimes why people don't see the logic or the lesson as soon as I'm seeing it, right? And I get it. Like, you didn't walk the same shoes. So, or, you know, the same path in my shoes. So why would you see that same sort of thing? But, I have to take a step back and a deep breath and say, why would they know? And like, it's been awesome having my brother Charles in the gym. He'll ask me questions that I just haven't even considered. And you guys have probably wanted to ask. So thank you, Charles, for asking these questions. We had up on the board AMRAP times 10. And he's like, well, what exactly does that mean? I'm like, valid. Why would you know? So I said it, but I said it fast, as many rounds as possible. Oh, I get it. It's an acronym. Got it. And then in 10 minutes. Well, why didn't we just put in 10 minutes? Right? Why did we put times 10. I mean, I don't know. That's just the way it's written these days, right? So anyway, ask the questions, find the story, find your path. Be patient with those that aren't on the same path. It's okay. Take a deep breath and smile. I'll give you another good one. My dad sent out an email to his children, so the 5 of us, and it said, hey, here's a little hyperbole, a little parable, and then a bunch of information about why you shouldn't vote for this person. I'm like, you know what, Dad, you don't call, you don't text, you don't reach out to your grandkids. The only thing that I've gotten from you in the last couple of months is a political email that you actually look like you put some thought and time into. And yes, it was funny, but like we had a conversation. I said, how many years do you think you have left? Maybe 10, hopefully more. Do you want the last things that I remember you trying to like thwart political deviance or whatever? Or do you want it to be, my dad came over and we built a garden together. My dad came out and did this with the family. My dad was communicating with my children while they're at college and saying, I love you. What do you need? Right? What do you want that last thing to be? What is your vision? So my vision for myself, when I get towards the end, this vivid picture that I've got of myself is I want to be healthy and fit enough to coach my kids in soccer. Now, it's just a vivid picture. Do I really care that I'm coaching soccer? No, I just want to coach something, or I want to be involved in something. So I could be the guy who takes them to the Boy Scout trip all the time, or Girl Scout trip, or whatever. I'll actually, whatever. So however that works, if dads can go on Girl Scout trips, I don't really know. I want to be that active. I want to be the parent or the grandparent that everybody knows they can count on. There's no like, well, we can't ask whatever my name's going to be, Grandpa Andy, because, he's got that heart thing, or he can't stand up, or he's got a truck that he can't climb into because he's too weak and feeble, right? Or if he comes over, he has to take a nap at noon. I don't want that. I want to be productive. I want to have health and fitness and money. I want to have it all. I'm greedy. Give it to me. How do you get it? Well, you go get it. If you wait for somebody to give it to you, man, that's horrible. I think there's this whole idea, and I don't listen to the news much, and I don't pay attention to a lot of the like young, stupid stuff going on. And so, but I hear it. There's a victim mentality, sure, whatever. Stop being a victim. Just go out and be the hero of your own story. Change the narrative. I want to win. Here's the problem. Winning is tough. Winning sucks sometimes, right? You have to get dirty, but it's awesome. I have, of my kids, right? They get into a relationship and then it doesn't maybe go the way you expect, or maybe that is the way it expects, right? So they're in this thing winning and then something happens. Is it better? You guys know the answer to this. Is it better to love and lose than to never love at all? I think someone wiser than me has written books about this. So get on the life journey, get out there, experience some setbacks, not like I broke my arm. Don't setback like that. We'll talk about that in this podcast as well. So this is going to go down the route. Here is a kind of an idea what we're going to talk about. It's going to be we're going to talk about the Open and what I'm doing and what I did in the regionals and, this idea of CrossFit competitions. I'm going to talk about the rules that I've got, the 2 rules that are firm, and then the other rules that I'm coming up with for being at the gym, or not being at the gym. It's really life, but I use them at the gym a lot. I'm going to show you some things that I did in the regional workouts that I was stupid and I violated my own rules. And there's reasons for it. And then we are going to go into a little bit of history as well, and we're going to talk about some benchmark stuff. So there's a lot to go through, but the general theme is what you can do inside of the gym right now to help you get to that 90 plus, feeling good about yourself. Not just feeling good about yourself, but actually having a body and having the ability to do the things you want to do. Okay, so part of what I do, I want to be helpful, right? So things that I do to be helpful, I listen to this guy, Jack Spirko, on the Survival podcast. I got his website up right here. He is, I guess, coined the phrase modern day survivalism. And really what he talks about, you can see it here in this picture, gardening. I mean, it's not zombies and shotguns. And sometimes I do joke about that, but it's not that. What it is the idea of one is none, two is one. So if you're going to prepare for something, why not have a garden? If you have a garden, you can eat it. And if the world goes to crap, well, you have a garden. So the garden is a thing that operates in 2 avenues. Yeah, it helps you. And yeah, it'll help you in times of like, even when they're good or if they're bad. So he asked, hey, I'm looking for some new expert counsels. I was like, hey, buddy, I've been listening for a long time, been on your show, and I really enjoy it. I have CrossFit Garage. I know some health and fitness. I'd be happy to answer those questions. So every Tuesday, I send him a reply to the questions that he gets in the area of health and fitness. Why? Because I want to be helpful. Do I get anything out of it? No. And I have such a bad online presence. You can't even buy anything from me if you don't live in Woodstock, Georgia. So it doesn't really make any sense why I would do it, except for the part that I want to do what helpful people do. And what do helpful people do? They go out of their way to help. When I'm at Publix and there's a shopping cart out, I grab it and I wheel it back in. If there's two out, I grab that and wheel it back in. I do helpful things. Okay. Next one is this Storyworth. So my dad wrote a book from Storyworth. You go on there, it asks you a bunch of questions over a year or something like that. And then you can put pictures to it, then print it off, and it's got this cool hardcover book. It was actually very fascinating. It took the things that I didn't really understand from our past, and he put his words into it. So now instead of being a kid that went through a divorced scenario with parents, I'm a 50-year-old man reading about it going, oh, you know what? That makes a whole lot more sense. I probably should have asked these questions a long time ago. The point that I wanted to bring up in this is that he says in here, it is very hard. He's 78. He said, it is very hard to make new friends because at 76, half the people you know are dead. Let that sink in. 76. I'm 50. That's 26 years. In 26 years, my friends will be dropping off in their own battle, the battle against stupidity, age, time, all that stuff. And by 76, half the people that I know that were born in 1973 are going to be dead. That's just crazy. So anyway, he says also other people that he knows that make it past 76 are racing towards the grave. They don't really have great lives and they're taking a lot of medication and they don't do much. So he has found pickleball and he's pretty active. He goes out in the garden. He does a lot of stuff. He's an active 78-year-old. He has taken a few spills. So be careful out there, Dad, if you're listening to us. I do love you and sorry for harshing on the mellow for the email. We did have a good conversation about that. I love you tremendously. I hope you listen to this and you call or text all the grandkids. Anyway, the lesson that I learned there was it's hard to make friends later on. So make those friends now. Well, and use the Venn diagram overlapping circles, right? I love the idea, the motto of the gym. I love some of these people that are, a lot of you guys at the gym. I resonate with a lot of you guys. A bunch of those guys go to the same church. I currently don't have a church. So I'm like, you know what? I should probably go to where the people I already like go. So we end up at Jubilee Church just down the road. And it's been a lot of fun. I don't make it all the time. There's a lot of things going on that I'm choosing to do things with my daughter versus, my own friends. But hey, that's my choice. You make choices in life and you pick the ones that stand out to you or are going to have the most impact. By all means, make your choices and do the thing that makes you you, but don't go down the road of somebody else's road, somebody else's journey. I am just on his journey, her journey, or whatever, or I'm not even paying attention. I have no idea what the end is. I don't even know what the destination is. I just got on the ship. Man, don't be like that. Okay. So, you, on the journey of doing the open and regionals and all that, most of you know I'm not a huge fan of competitions. Most of you don't know that we had probably a decade of doing competitions. So this is a picture of the gym wall, the front wall when you walk into the gym. If you look up, it says the Garage Games, Woodstock, Georgia, and it has a big red 1 on it. So we had about 10 years of running events, and this is the Garage Games website. It's still up and active, and they still do stuff. Not nearly as much as we did. We got in trouble with CrossFit headquarters because they didn't want other people doing events. And this is back in like 2009 and 10. I think the first CrossFit Games was in 2007. Yeah, I think that's right. Anyway, they did not like what we were doing. And so, of course, as we were trying to taper down and follow the rules, somewhere along the line, they said, never mind. And other people shot past in what they were doing. We were going for helping people with events rather than having our own event. Although we did have our own event that I ran a couple times. We would rotate the kind of the main ownership of it. And the one time we ran it in the Woodlands neighborhood park, we had something like 1,500 people participating throughout the weekend. Usually day one was individuals and day two was team. We even had Rich Froning come out, who has won the CrossFit Games multiple times. Anyway, so I used to be pretty big into this. I just got so burnt out that it still hurts me to even think about going to events. And I love that a couple of you guys love events. Man, I got shortcuts, I got cheats, I got tools in the tool bag. I have things I can tell you if you ever want to know. But, and thank you for offering, but I'll probably never do an event. I had one of our old members emailed us. They just moved and then moved again. And they're at a new gym that's doing an event. And he's like, hey, come to this event. I'm like, yeah, never going to happen. But I love the passion you guys have. It is good. Why? Because it pushes you in this. Events are pretty cool. So then we move on to my rule set. So it's taking me some time, but I built up these rules. Number one rule, you guys should know this if you're in my class. Number one rule is show up. This doesn't even have to be about CrossFit. Show up for your life, show up for your marriage, show up for your kids, show up for your investments. Like, decide what you want and then show up, right? So show up to the gym. We ask people to come 3 or more times a week. We track that on the board. I'd say over half of you are doing that. And the ones that aren't, we are constantly after. Danny and myself are calling you, talking to you. Jamie helps you get in. Danny helps you stay committed on the attendance side. And I work with you on the goals. All right, rule number 2. Don't do anything stupid today that will prevent you from showing up tomorrow. So if you look at the workout and you're like, oh man, 185, yeah, I might be able to do that. Don't do it. Don't do anything stupid. Ring muscle ups. I haven't done that in a while. Let me not warm up and then jump right into those ring muscle ups. Okay. So other rules that I'm considering is squat below parallel 3 times a week. Lift something heavy 3 times a week. Aim for the intended stimulus before you aim for going RX, right? So it's better to do the amount and style of work that the programming is asking for than it is to do the reps and weight that they're asking for. The reason for that, and there's a whole other podcast that should have come out before this one, is the intended stimulus is what the programmer is thinking you will get out of it. So he says, hey, let's run 100 miles. In his mind, he's like, everyone's just going to maintain a 12-minute pace the whole time. In reality, if you went to go run 100 miles, 1, most people aren't going to do it. 2, I'd say nearly everybody is going to walk it. And that's not what he intended. So he would probably, the better way to look at it is say, okay, I want people to run at 100 miles. What is that? I'd probably take 13 hours. I want you to run for 13 hours. So maybe what he says is, hey, I want you to run at a sustainable pace for 13 hours, right? So now the intended idea comes out between or in the RX or the named portion of the workout. Okay, so intended stimulus. Go listen to that podcast. That's all I'm going to say on that one. All right, so now we get into the CrossFit Games series. So am I a fan of it? It depends. As a business owner, I don't know. It really hasn't helped the garage very much. And when we did push heavy into the competition side of it, it was very contentious. It was very cliquey. It was not happy humble. And it was not helpful. It was the opposite of those things. And so as a business, I'm going to say, no, I'm not very interested in, hey, I'm going to the games. Like, great, let's get you to a different gym, because people take up too much space. They become a prima donna. It's all about me. You know, where's the best programming I can get? And the best programming you can do is the one you'll show up and do. As long as it's well thought out, it doesn't really matter what you're doing. CrossFit works. It's just a hack on your time, so you get the most impact out of the minimal dose. But you could go jog. You could go do Zumba. You could do HIIT. You could do the Orange Theory. You could do whatever. As long as you're showing up and doing it, you're going to see results. Now, there are diminishing returns in some of the things you do, and that's a whole different story. Okay, so for me and the open and the workouts, I've been doing I say corporately, I don't really care too much about it. Individually, I've done the open every year. They've had it out there. So since 2011. And, it's interesting to see the progress or the timestamps through time. Unfortunately, it doesn't really mean that much, because sometimes there are more people that register, sometimes there's less. So it just becomes kind of like baffling and confusing sometimes as to like how they break these things up in the stats. But it is interesting to see and do. This year, a couple of us made it into the quarterfinals. I think in the age group quarterfinals, I might have ended up around 800 or something. I'll go find that actually. Oh, it's on this tab. Yeah, it was 842nd out of 50-year-old men across the world. Yeah, so 50-year-old men across the world, I was 842nd. not bad. What does that mean, actually? I don't know. There was about 2,000 people that registered, or 2,050-year-old men that registered. So that puts me slightly above half. Now, take this in perspective. It's slightly above half of the fittest people in the world that signed up for this event. That ain't that damn bad. That probably puts me in the top 0.5% of 50-year-old men in the world. And just looking at my own 50-year-old friends, yes, for sure, puts me way above. I probably in the number one spot because the sample size is pretty small. Anyway, some lessons that I learned, some things that I did that were kind of stupid. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to show you some YouTube videos. If you're listening, I will describe what's going on. So this is CrossFit Regional WOD 1, and I did not do them in order because our members said, hey, let's do it in a different order. And I am here for them. I could, so in the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it is not Andy do a great job at the competition. It's Andy, be good to the friends you have at the gym, your customers, members, whatever. I also consider you guys friends. So what does Joe, Sharon, Nick, and Nick want to do? Then yeah, I want to do what you guys want to do. Whatever. I will push my desires aside. I mean, my desire is always to do things in order because I just like to follow the rules and click the boxes. But whatever. Okay, so in this one, it was the power snatch at 135 pounds, which is near my max. Box steps with 100 pounds, which is dumb. I have a messed up knee and my back's not great. And then row, which is totally fine. And then rest, which I crushed the rest. I actually got 60 seconds of unbroken rest in there. Okay, so let's see if I can find it. So I'm going to slide through. There's me doing some snatches. I go over to the row and then box. Is that box next? I thought it was row. And now I'm going to the box. Okay, so I had this slick idea. Because I didn't want to step down with all my weight on my knee, I was going to bend over like a deadlift, put my leg down, and then slide over and stand up. That way I would never actually be putting pressure on my knee. And you can sort of see it. I think it's in this rep right here. So I'm going to step up, and then I'm going to do like a small step, and then deadlift, stand, then squat, and go down. Yeah, so here it comes right here. And then I go up, and I'm going to come down, and I'm going to be like, oh, wait a minute. Something just happened. Nope, not there. It's about to happen. And I violate. Oh, there it is right there. I was like, uh-oh, I paused. What just went wrong? And I'm going to be like, oh, keep going. Yeah. So I know something went wrong. I paused in that. I'm like, my back just kind of went wonky. Now, going back to rule number 2, don't do anything stupid today that'll prevent me to showing up for tomorrow. So not only did I violate this, I thought I changed the movement enough that I wouldn't get hurt. And I know my back is not great for this particular movement, and I know my knee is not great for this particular movement. But I chose to do it anyway. I wallowed in the world of stupid because we were doing a competition. So there are some times you want to wallow in the world of stupid. I wanted to put a number up. My ego was getting in there. I was like, yeah, I can do this. Let's do this thing. So I should have listened to my initial instinct, which is don't do these at all and just put a lot more effort onto the row. Now, this workout, it wasn't first, but it did mess me up for all the rest of the workouts. I did this one second. So WOD 2, we actually did first, and it was burpee box jump overs. And weirdly, in the rules, it said you could not jump down. I should have read the rules. I jumped down a bunch, and that makes every single one of those reps not legit. And several of the guys redid the workout. Me? Nah, I'll just let them count no reps. I don't care that much. I'll do it because I love them, but I'm not going to do it for perfection's sake. It's like in the open, I never redo the workouts. So yeah, I blew that one big time, and they're moving. There you go. Nick moved the box for Nick so that they could see my chest at the ground. So we messed a few things up on that one, but my back was fine in that one. No worries. It was wall balls and burpee box jump overs. Okay. So the next one that we did was the handstand push-up one. I don't really like handstand push-ups because my neck will click and then I've got stiff neck. Why? I don't really know why it happens. And as long as I don't do stupid, then it doesn't happen. So I typically just avoid handstand push-ups. I haven't done them in quite some time. And so I wasn't even sure if I could do them. Now, in the workout, they said, hey, the first set, you're going to kip and you're going to do some toes to bar. Next set, you're going to do them strict, which I was like, yeah, that's probably not going to happen, and do some rope climb. So I'm going to hit play on this. So you can see it actually worked out pretty good for me. So CrossFit works. I haven't done a handstand push-up in probably a year or two. And I was able to knock out 30 of them with the toes to bar. So 60 of those. and then come back around to strict handstand push-ups, which should not be something in my wheelhouse. I'm going to show you some of this in some historical events. So toes to bar, not a real problem for me. It's a good gymnastics movement for me. I can do that all right. Let's see, this is a strict one. No, this is still not strict. Okay. So let me see if I can move over to the strict one. I did them one at a time. Yeah, here's probably strict. Super careful because it's a monostructural movement. So because of all the years of competing, I know this is what I should be doing to make sure that I can keep going, right? Oh, no, it's not. That's not strict yet. There's a strict one. Yeah, one at a time because I are weak. So, but anyway, the point is I was able to do them. I did. So there's a line on the mat that you have to keep your hands on, but it could be your palms, your fingers, whatever. It could be anything as long as it's on there. So I utilized that rule to the fullest. So sometimes it was the top of my finger, my middle finger. Sometimes it was my thumb. Sometimes it was my palm. So I would turn my hands in different ways to help me actually get a different stimulus out of that handstand push-up. Okay. So then we had, let's see, rope climbs. Is that in there? Yeah. Rope climbs not a thing for me. Just got to use your legs. It's circus tricks. I'm good on the circus tricks. All right. So then the last workout, that one had, my back was hurt. And the last workout is WOD 4. I did this one immediately after WOD 2, which means I just hurt my back. And it's clean and jerks, 135 and then 185 pounds. And then you're supposed to get to 225, which I could not do. So in this video, you can see that I am wearing a belt. And I have done videos and podcasts and lectures and talks and gone to prison and talked and church and talked, whatever. Not really church, but don't wear a weight belt. Unless you have to. So my back was hurting. I should have not violated rule number 2. Hey, I'm doing something stupid. That's not going to let me show up. I know it's going to take me some time to fix my back. And it is. It's been, it's the 24th right now. So we're almost a week out. No, not a week. 4 days out of the open or the regionals. And my back still hurts. So now I'm loading up the bar for 225, knowing that, yeah, there's no real way. That's my, near my max, just pounds off of my actual one-time max. So yeah, this isn't going to work, but I thought, whatever, I'll load it up and see what happens. And it doesn't happen. So no surprise there. Okay. So what is my point there? Sometimes you have a journey, a destination in mind, and sometimes you take, get off the on-ramp to go to Denny's or Waffle House. And that's what I'm doing right here. So I am intentionally rolling in the world of stupid. Would I recommend it? Maybe. So it was for a point. It was to do the open with some people who really, or not the open, the regionals, with some people from the gym that I like and that really like this stuff that I'm like, whatever for. I don't know. But for them, I love it. For me, I'm like, whatever. So, but I'm there to support them. I'm there to do it. All right. So there are some things called benchmark workouts. And I would rather put my time into this just so I could have some markers over time. So a benchmark workout for CrossFit is usually a named workout. And it's usually pretty aggressive. So there's Annie, which is double unders and sit-ups. Angie, which is push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, squats. Barbara, which we just did a little bit ago. Chelsea, Cindy, Diane, Elizabeth. Diane and Elizabeth start with some bars. Eva, Fran's one of the most well-known. Grace, probably the funnest. Helen is, if I had a heavy clean in there, if I could combine Helen and Grace, they'd be the perfect CrossFit workout. So Helen is a 400-meter run with 21 kettlebell swings and 12 pull-ups. There's Isabel, Jackie, we've done before, Karen, Kelly, Linda, Lynn, Mary, Nancy, which is another fun one, and Nicole. Okay. There's more than that, but those are some of the basics. And you'll see these come up. I would say on days like this, I don't know if I would go for the intended stimulus. I would probably try to go and get a benchmark so I know where I'm at, right? So it's like saying, hey, let's do a 400-meter run. Okay, well, everyone can do that. You can even walk it. And that's actually okay. That's legit. That's part of being RX. You're still continuing on your feet. You didn't get on a bike, whatever, right? So you can do that one as prescribed. Everybody can. So in the future, down the line, it'd be nice to be able to see what those numbers for yourself look like and be able to compare it. So here's an example of the comparison, right? So on the Wodify, you could pull up the leaderboard and you could see the different leaderboards that we have up. One of them is baselines. So we have a TBB tester. So that's one of our baselines. There's a new baseline. There's an old baseline. And you can see different times that you've posted throughout the year. Or in this case, you see the leaders, right? You could also change that to, let's say, there's the girls. Yeah, there's some girls ones. So it's kind of all the ones we just named off. So we got Fran, Cindy, Diane, Elizabeth, and it gives you the men and women, their numbers. And anyway, so going into my specific performance, because we've had Wodify for so long, I can track and measure most of these workouts. So I find this fascinating that this workout, Helen, back in, my first bullet point with Wodify was in 2015. I did it in 8 minutes and 8 seconds. Now, in the year 2023, I did it in 8 minutes and 51 seconds. So, man, that's like nearly 10 years. Actually, is it 10 years? No, it's nearly 10 years, and I've only dropped like 40 seconds in time. Dude, that is freaking awesome. Yeah, I know it's behind. Whatever. I'm 10 years older. I went from 40 to 50. Most people from 40 to 50 are like on 9 different drugs, can't stand up. I mean, they suck. So this is awesome. Not sucking is awesome. So another one, this is a shoulder press. This one's actually very interesting because strength is my weakness. But Wodify, we bought back in like May of 2013. So I got a measurement from June 12th, 2013. It says my best 1 rep max on that day was 120 pounds. You're right. Andy is not so strong. You can see a bunch of graph points over time, and you see the almost most recent one was on May 7th. Let me get that date. May 7th, 2023. I did a 1 rep max of 139 pounds. So I'm up 19 pounds. And the trend over time is up. So I've gone up slowly and surely over time. So does CrossFit work? Will it build strength? Yes. Does it build strength as fast as hypertrophy? No, that's not its point. I'm getting harder to kill. My Helen time is great. My lifting time or numbers are great. This is what CrossFit does for you. This is what listening to your body, listening to the rules, and having a coach will do for you. All right. So the next bit that I wanted to show you, so we got some CrossFit in here, and you can go to their main site and you can read some of the things. I would actually get you guys to go out there and read this. I think it's awesome. So CrossFit, it's about, there's a lot of things that it's about. I mean, the philosophy of CrossFit, the methodology is constantly varied functional movements executed at high intensity, and I'm going to put in there sometimes because you can't send it every day. Learn yourself, right? So find some rules for yourself. Rule number 2, I hurt my back. I should have known that. Redoing workouts? Nope, not for me. Following the rules? Yes, that is for me, right? You get surprised. Hey, I had strict handstand push-ups when historically I never had those. I didn't hurt my neck and I was able to do them. Great. I am finding strength, skills, gymnastic skills, mobility stretches, whatever. Increasing my endurance. I am getting all of these things simply by showing up and listening to the coach. Yes, it is true. Everybody's looking for something different, and we may not be a good fit for everybody, and you may outgrow us. You may decide, I can make it to the games, or we have spawned off an Olympic lifting business because some people go, you know what? I am really fascinated by these lifts. I want to narrow down into it. Great, by all means. That's not necessarily us. My job is not to get you to your maximal clean and jerk, because if I do that, I'm sacrificing a whole lot of other things that you should be doing, right? I need you to have, I'm greedy. I want it all. I want the 10 general physical, let's see if it's on here. 10 general physical skills. Is it on this thing? No, let me type that in there and get the 10 general physical skills. I can't spell. Let me pause you and find it. I love this. Every search engine now has its own little AI driven thing. So it's given me the 10 general physical skills for CrossFit. So this is what we're trying to train. Cardiovascular or respiratory endurance, right? Developed through activities like running. Stamina, I can't say it. Stamina. It's a blend of cardiovascular, respiratory endurance, and high intensity metabolic training. Strength, we know what that is. Flexibility, coordination, agility, balance, accuracy. And then those things will bleed into the last two, power and speed. Power is work divided by time. Speed is well, it could be very similar. Speed is distance over time, but the idea is I'm moving quickly through the pattern. So like a shuttle sprint, an Olympic lift, right? So we want to develop these things. We want to be greedy. We want it all. I don't want to be a one-trick wonder. I want to, like, what is life going to throw at me? I don't know. The hopper of life says, Andy, there's a car wreck out there. Go help him. Yeah, I can. I don't have to put on my lifters. I don't have to put on my weight belt. I don't have to put chalk on my face. I can go over there and help, whatever it is. Hey, Andy, come over and help us mow. Help us spread mulch. Yes, I can do that. I can pick up the bags. Hey, will you help me put a footing in with some cement? Yes, and I can lift a 50-pound bag of cement. No problem. I am that guy you can call on for help. I'm also, this gives me joy. It makes me happier. And I try not to toot my own horn. I try to toot y'all's horns. I want you guys to look good. I want you guys to have this stuff. And this is why I hardly ever talk about it on myself. But I mean, I know myself the best. I have researched this subject, me, for 50 years. Anyway. You guys can have this too. You can be greedy. You can have all of these things. You can have your fitness. You can have your food. You can have your finances. You got to work on it. You got to choose your hard. Being poor is hard. Being rich is hard. Being obese is hard. Being fit is hard. Being married is hard. Being divorced is hard. Everything's got its hard. It's just got its different hards. Do you want to put in the work to get those things? Or do you want the hard to smash into you and destroy your work, right? You have to pick. This is the journey that we are on. We want you to become the hero of your own story. Get your life back, right? Do the things you want to do. So we're here in Woodstock. If you're a friend of a friend of a friend and you're listening to this podcast, man, come join us. I will give you your own one-on-one session with me, maybe 2-on-1. I'll grab a couple of you and put you together. If you've got a friend here, say, friend, Andy said that me and you can come in and he'll do a session just for us so I can see what it's like. The answer is yes to that. I also guarantee you, if you join us and you come 4 days a week, dial your nutrition a little bit, work with Laura for 1 month, and at least half-ass the stuff we do in here, you're going to be fitter a year from now than you are today. If you're not, I will double your money. I will give you 10 times your money back because it's just not going to happen. I know for a fact, if you show up, if you follow rule number 1, you're going to get all of this stuff. 100%. You will be fitter year by year, day by day. Well, maybe not day by day, month by month for sure, but year by year. All right, guys, we're here in Woodstock, Georgia. I'm here to help you. We've got a great staff. We're always looking for us to become better so we can help you become better. And if you've got questions, concerns, thoughts, or whatever, you can find me on any of the socials, or you can email me, andy@crossfitgarage.com, or my cell phone number is actually the one on the website. You can call, text, whatever. I'm there to talk to you. Guys, be good. And I hope you become the hero of your own story.